And I think we are live. Happy Saturday, everybody. Oh, man, they're already talking about St. John's in the comments. He's saying St. John's -1.5 is free. You know I'm always down to bet the Johnnies, except for I actually don't know if I like them here, but we'll get to that in a second. Andy and Toast with me. Scoop had his son had blood work or something, so it was a legitimate excuse. Trust me, I would have trashed him if it was a cowardice excuse. So we have 17 games to go through, but obviously, like, there's going to be a lot of them where they're just leans for these guys. And what I'm going to do, because with NFL playoffs and NBA going on, I didn't have the time to look at anything. I'm just going to listen to what they both say and put up who I thought had a better argument. So that's what I'm going to do. So first up is Baylor at Texas. I think this is the first game right on ESPN, too. So this is a good one to start with. Now, look, I haven't been following it that closely, but isn't Texas trash? They're laying points to Baylor. This is a suspicious line, right?
I wouldn't call it so suspicious. Big 12 home team.
Hold on. Oh, no, never mind. You're good. I thought they couldn't hear you. They can.
Big 12 home. The only reason I don't call it suspicious is because I agree 100%. Texas is terrible. They've got a soft head coach that shouldn't be there in Rodney Terry, and it's a big but this year in college basketball. They are a Big 12 home team. Big 12 home teams have been absolutely fantastic all year long, so I get it. But I'm not there. I'm on Baylor here today. I said it in my write-up. It was really simple for me. I truly believe that Texas is a bad basketball team. If you go back and look at their last few games, their only win, losses against Texas Tech, West Virginia, UCF. I will give them a little bit of credit. UCF is a much better team than people gave them credit for. Now they've beat Kansas at home, and then they went on the road and beat Baylor, but losing to West Virginia and Texas Tech. And then keep in mind, their only win in those last four games was Cincinnati, was a 1-point win with a Max Abmas buzzer beater. I just think this is a big step up in class. You got Baylor and Scott Drew coming off a loss in a game that they shouldn't have lost. I understand that everybody's going to Big 12 home teams, and I get it. But if you're going to give me Baylor and this Baylor team 2.5 points and plus 125, I'm going to take it. So I took Baylor.
A couple things in the comments. Someone saying, "Where the fuck is the NFL? If you don't get these college games out of my face, dude." This is the title of this show is College Basketball Picks. We do it every Saturday. It's College Basketball Show. There's 2 NFL videos up. They're each about 16 minutes long. Someone did say, "Sorry, Andy, but your Packers are getting beat today." Doug Lane, what's up, man?
I can understand that. It's interesting. Why do people want a live show of 4 NFL games?
That's actually 2 today.
Yeah, so like I don't know. For this game, I'm with him, Baylor, 100%. I think Texas had the low point of their season. I think they just had the low point of their season. They did lose the game, but also let's talk about how they were up by 17 at one point. Like, they blew the game completely. Acted like bitches after it. Like, I'm completely off Texas. Earlier on in the year, they beat Louisville on a neutral site by a buzzer beater, and I thought it was just a nothing or whatever. It was a neutral site game, whatever. That's more of the team they are now, because the next day they got blown out by UConn, and that's more of the team they are. They just get outmatched by the really good teams on their schedule, and Baylor's a really good team. So yeah, I think Baylor wins this one handedly.
In my opinion, the only reason to take Texas here is to just play the suspicious line.
Yeah.
Which does work sometimes. I mean, look at the Pelicans Suns last night. Suns beat up on them. But yeah, I would agree with these guys, Baylor.
And to be dead honest, if you're playing every Big 12 home team, you're probably going to make money if you play every single one.
Yeah. So our poll was 57% to 32% Baylor. So community agrees with us. Baylor's the move here. Next. All right, so let's clear the picks. And the next is pie charts. I didn't have a chance to get to them. So like this says Northwestern, Wisconsin. Obviously, that's not the game we're talking about. So ignore the pie. You know what? Let me just get them off of there. All right, Creighton at Seton Hall. We're in the Big East. Short line here for Creighton at Seton Hall. Maybe this is a testament to how well Seton Hall has played at home, or a testament to how bad Creighton looked in that UConn game. They got smacked, and I had Creighton +6. They got absolutely hammered, and I didn't watch every play of the game, but from the look of it, it was a beatdown. Andy, Seton Hall +2.5. You taking the home dog on the short line?
I am. I think we're getting out of hand with the love for Creighton. Like Creighton's been a little bit. That wasn't the first time we saw Creighton have a bad game this year. We've seen them have some rough ones, and for Seton Hall, I don't think they're getting enough love yet. This is the home team. They've already beat UConn and Marquette at home, so they're a really good home team. They're coming off a neutral, not a neutral site win. I guess it's a road win at MSG over St. John's, where they just outclassed them, and that's a good St. John's team. Obviously, Creighton's better than that, but Creighton coming off that type of game, usually I'd think it's a bounce back spot, but I just think Seton Hall's a really good team right now. So I like Seton Hall here.
To the people in the comments saying he sneak some NFL in, like, yeah, I get it. The NFL playoffs are huge today, but there's fast forward a month from now, and this is important, like something I learned kind of the hard way. Right now, obviously, we want to look at the NFL playoffs and even maybe the NBA a little bit, but you fast forward 1 month from now, 5-6 weeks from now, March Madness has started. Conference tournaments are starting. And we're going to wish we had handicapped these games all January so we have an idea of what we're doing. So, I mean, and also there's money to be made in these college basketball slates. But also, I mean, you don't want to be the guy and when the March Madness starts that has no clue what's been going on in college basketball the last month, because those conference tournaments are awesome. They're better than the 64, by the way. The conference tournaments, that's some of the best basketball of the year. And I hated – it wasn't last year. I did a little better job of it last year, but 2 years ago, conference tournament started, and I didn't have any idea. So, like, it's really important to get ready for that. So, anyway, Toast.
Couldn't agree more.
Do you agree with Seton Hall plus 2.5?
I do not. I am not there. Really quickly to that St. John's game against Seton Hall, or against Seton Hall, was at home, I think, for them, for Seton Hall.
But
right.
It was at Prudential Center.
Regardless, Seton Hall has been playing really good basketball. There's no question about that. Providence, Marquette, Georgetown, Butler, St. John's, 5 straight wins to start conference play after losing that pretty bad one against Xavier, a 20-point loss on the road. But they've been playing really well. They're going to slow this game down. I just feel like, and I'm going to trust the model. The model likes Creighton a lot. Model has this game 75-67 Creighton. So I did play Creighton at the 2.5. I just think that there's going to be, with Kalkbrenner being able to pull him out, and then Alexander and Shireman doing their thing, I think they should be able to handle what Kadari Richmond does. So I understand that Creighton doesn't play super fast either. Yeah, I think that Creighton's is a better basketball team. We'll find out. Home teams haven't been really good to me when I've bet against them, but I do think that Creighton, with that number 3 our offense as far as 2-point percentage, and they got guys shooting the 3 ball. I think it's just going to be a little bit too much, but we'll see what happens.
I agree with Toast. You want to know how I know Creighton's a good road team? From the notes you sent me, Andy. That's how I know Creighton's a good road team.
I know, but they're coming off a blowout game. They're
even more so.
That's a game where
you think they're going to get boat raced twice in a row?
I don't think they're going to get boat raced in this game. I just think they're going to lose.
Does Seton Hall have the horses to put up points like that?
They have one horse. They have one horse.
I need to see somebody but the thing is he opens up every other horse, because the big men for Seton Hall are playing pretty well against St. John's because everybody's worried about Kadari Richmond. I need to see somebody stop Kadari Richmond first.
Great.
You're
about to see it. You're about to see it this afternoon, just in about an hour. All right.
St. John's did a pretty good job on him. He only had 12. He went 4 for 13. So
St. John's just couldn't. St. John's just couldn't score at all. Our poll leaning towards Creighton, 50% to 42% on Creighton. So they agree. Will slightly agree with me and Toast. Next, more Big East. Johnny's time. And guys, I don't know if this is the best spot for the Johnnies. I'm a fan. You guys know I like the Johnnies. New York. I represent St. John's, but I don't know if this is the spot. I think this line is getting a little out of hand with the Marquette hate, if you ask me. But as Toast said, I mean, this is the third game, and I've put up two road teams so far, which has been a recipe that's been failing. So maybe you just blindly take the home team, but I'm putting mine up. I think this would be a spot to fade the Johnnies personally. Toast, what do you think?
I agree. It is a lean. I didn't bet this game personally because I've had a little ups and downs with Marquette. But first thing to mention with Marquette, Sean Jones, Chase Ross, both out. Those are 2 guards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So again,
have they been out for some time?
No, they just got hurt. So they're going to be a little bit short, but I still feel like you have the best point guard in the country in Tyler Kolek. Stevie Mitchell is a junior. He knows what he's doing. And then Cam Jones and then the big guys. I still think that they have enough in there. I will say, is there a little bit of worry with St. John's? And do they have Patino on the bench? That one I don't know.
It sounds like he's going to coach today.
Okay, you got them with the throwback uniforms in Madison Square Garden. I get it. The one thing that I will say is that Marquette's played in MSG a lot over the last couple of years, so I don't think that's as big as a thing as people are making it out to be. So I think this is going to be a fantastic game. I truly believe it's a coin flip, though. I could make cases for either team and be happy with it.
Andy, Marquette?
Yeah. I'm on Marquette. I don't like – so the way St. John's does it is they have their home games. Most of their big home games in Big East play are at MSG. And in their 3 home games in Big East play, they played 2 at Carnesecca Arena, 1 at MSG. Vastly different performances in both games. Against Butler at Carnesecca, they blew them out. And Butler's about as even as Providence is right now in terms of talent without Bryce Hopkins. Providence nearly beat them at MSG. So I think the fact that they're playing games in MSG, it feels more like a neutral site game to me. So I like Marquette in that. They're not getting a home court advantage in Big East play if you're playing your games at MSG right now. So, and Patino has said that before. He feels the same way. So I don't give any home court to this. So that line to me just feels like they're blindly saying, well, they're technically the home team. I don't look at it that way. So I like Marquette here.
Yeah, I didn't know the guards were hurt, but I mean, I'm still rocking with this. Someone said, what is this Big East ball? Where's IUPUI? Plus 5.5 Salak. A deep cut
also,
there.
Joel Soriano, who I thought was the best player in the Big East coming in the season, he's looked awful the past 2 games, so he needs to be better.
Also, one other thing to point out, short spread, Johnny's 227 in field goal percentage, Marquette 80th or something like that. So pretty big difference as far as free throws.
Next up, we're heading back to the Big 12. It's Oklahoma, Cincinnati. Obviously, as I keep mentioning, the pie charts are not done, so those are wrong. Oklahoma, Cincinnati, lines 3.5. Cincinnati came through for me on some bullshit the other night.
Welcome to my life.
That was they were losing. They were laying. I think the same line, 3.5. They were losing, tied the game up at the end, and then ended up covering by a half point in overtime.
Oh, but don't forget, there was 6 missed free throws in the last 30 seconds of that game that could have ended the game for either team, and we cover that 3.5 with fucking ease. Oh, my God. Ease. 6.
That's crazy. Anyway, Toast, are you going back to – I have to piss real quick. You going to Oklahoma?
No, I'm going to Cincinnati, but I'll talk while you go pee, though.
All right.
Cincinnati, I just think that this one is the biggest difference with this one is going to be Cincinnati with the advantages on the glass. Shot quality has them as the 4th best defensive rebounding team in the country and 13th as far as offensive rebounding come. Sooners, on the other hand, 30th in defensive rebounding. I just think that inside, I think Cincinnati has such a huge advantage that I don't think it's going to matter. I understand that Oklahoma has kind of played pretty well to start the year, but they haven't really played anybody, and that's my problem. 194 in strength of schedule. I mean, your best win is Iowa State. I mean, it's just really hard for me. The times that they have played good teams, Kansas, TCU, North Carolina, all losses, all on the road as well. This is their 4th road game, or I'm sorry, their 3rd road game, because North Carolina was like a semi away, but you can call it their 4th, whatever you want to call it. But I just don't really like the matchup for Oklahoma. And to be honest, I haven't really liked this Oklahoma team to start with. I think that Porter Mosier's a very good coach, and he'll continue to make this team better. But as far as this season, they haven't played anybody. I think that people gave them credit for beating a weak Iowa team and a pretty bad USC team. And besides that, like I said, they haven't done anything. Arkansas is pretty bad. I don't know what you think, Andy, but I'm all over Cincinnati.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. They haven't played. I mean, they thought they were playing a good schedule, right? And I know there's a lot of teams that feel that way right now. Like you beat USC, you beat Iowa. Yeah. You thought you were playing a good schedule. Yeah. Those teams aren't as good as they were. But Cincinnati's been a very big surprise to me. First year in the Big 12, they've come out and they've played really well. Their only loss in Big 12 play was by a point at Baylor. Like, that's impressive to me. Baylor
they lost to Texas, too.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Texas. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
by
I remember
one
that
on a buzzer beater.
Yeah, they've lost 2 games by like combined 2 points. But like,
Exactly.
yeah, they've come in really well in Big 12 play. At home in this one, Oklahoma doesn't. I mean, I think they're still ranked, right? But they really don't do anything for me here. So yeah, I like Cincinnati.
Someone said, so proud of Toast and his new router. He's no longer just the weather guy.
Sometimes it still skips. I watch it back and get pissed off.
It was
A new
skipping
computer is
yesterday
coming.
again.
Yeah, a new computer is coming. I can tell you that.
I'll just tell these guys, even though blindly looking at it, looks like all the action's coming in on Cincinnati. I'll tell these guys because they actually are familiar with the teams and I'm not. So our poll's pretty split though. 43%, 41% in favor of Cincinnati. Sauce, don't forget to wash your hands. I'm in my own home, man. Like this, I'm not in a public place. There's no one else here. I'm good. Next. Alabama, Tennessee. Let's talk some SEC. Andy.
This is a really good game. I like Tennessee in this one. I went against him the other day because I thought Florida would come out.
That
with a
dude is so
little bit
good.
more.
Connect. He's so good.
Connect.
He's part of my
Fucking
reasoning.
true.
I mean,
You like him? Andy hates him.
so I hate. You know why I hate him? He's the reason we lost to him. But
Yeah.
the way he's playing really good defense too, which was something that he was knocked on coming into the season. People thought he was gonna play awful defense, be a great offensive player. Obviously, he's averaging 33 a game in the last 3. They're at home. Florida came in there, got boat raced. I don't think they beat them as bad, but I think they cover the number here. Alabama, I think they're getting a lot of love for not doing too much yet. They haven't really beaten anybody great in SEC play, especially. So yeah, I'll side Tennessee here. Their one bad game was on the road at Mississippi State. Even coming back against Georgia was great. They blew out Florida. Yeah, I really like this Tennessee, and especially at home. So Tennessee here.
I'm Roll Tide. I don't like when basketball teams are relying on one player, and everyone's taking Tennessee.
Well, they're not.
That's fair. No, they kind of are though. If you look,
He's averaging like 40 points a game in college basketball.
He's averaging 40, but they're also the best defensive team in the country that they purposely play that way.
That is something to look at. They are facing a really good offensive team.
So
I guess you're on Tennessee too then.
Yeah, so what I did is I did Tennessee. I didn't want to lay it with Tennessee. I didn't want to lay multiple possessions. So I did Tennessee, Purdue, moneyline parlay. It's -101. But a gun to my head, I would lay it with Tennessee as well. Alabama really quickly, 0-3 versus top 25 opponents, 2-5 against the top 50. I really have to see Alabama prove to me that they can beat somebody good. Florida, Georgia does not count. Mississippi does not count.
Whoa, Georgia. What?
Hey, if Georgia comes out and wins today or plays really well today, then maybe
they're
they can
covering.
Get some respect.
Georgia's covering the 14.
Well, I hope so because I got the over in that game. It's one of my favorite bets, so I hope they score 80 points. But yeah, both teams have actually played a really good schedule. I think Alabama. I think Tennessee's like number 4. Alabama is number 5. Yeah, so both teams. But Alabama coming into this game: Missouri, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Eastern Kentucky, Liberty. Just a huge step up in class for them. Like I said, I don't think they have anybody to guard Connect either. So Tennessee wins this one.
So you could see the text right under Toast's face there. Tennessee, Purdue, moneyline parlay, -101. And MK Newton boat raced means like beat the hell out of. It's new to me too, but like they got boat raced last night. Like they got their asses beat.
Well, I didn't want to say decked because last time I said decked, I got ripped apart. So
I use boat raced all the time.
Yeah.
So
he goes.
You could have said sold.
He's like, what is boat raced? That's twice now.
I'm glad that you said that though because I use that all the time too. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
Iowa State at TCU, back to the Big 12. I'm going to put mine up. See, you can't put a price tag on the value of a great coach entering a program, just an athletics department. And Matt Campbell has just turned everything around for Iowa State. Iowa State wins outright, +4.5.
You know what sucks is that I've been having such a shitty year. This is probably going to happen, but yeah, TCU is one of my favorite plays of the day. I have a -3.5. I don't know what it is now.
It's at 4.5.
Yeah, don't really love it as much at 4.5, just because Iowa State in that defense plays well. But they have this kid named Taman Lancey that's pretty banged up. He's a really big key for them. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but he's pretty bad. The transition game is going to really going to get it here. TCU, one of the best teams, if not the best team in transition in the country. Iowa State is going to really struggle with that. I just think that after losing the way that they've lost over the last couple games, I just think that this is the last game against Cincinnati. I just think this is a really good spot for them to come back at home. Keep in mind, too, I was well aware of this, and I still think they should have covered, but that Cincinnati loss was a big letdown spot. I mean, for them, they were coming off the best week in school program history, so still should have won that game, but I still think they need to get the job done here today.
Andy, are you on the Clones?
No, I'm on the Horned Frogs, but I got to be honest, it's the least favorite. I think these teams are very even in terms of, Iowa State, we've already seen them play Houston, beat Houston, so they've beaten some good teams. TCU obviously had a great week last week. Coming off a bad loss, so I think it's a rebound spot for TCU.
Guy says, I got a baddie in Iowa, so I'm going with them.
And here's the thing, though. That Limpsey kid is kind of be key, because if he plays, he had 17 and 14 against Oklahoma State and Houston, but he didn't play in their losses, 9 points against BYU, 4 points against Oklahoma. So if he plays, it'll be big. If he's out, it's going to be a big, big loss for Iowa State.
All right, so the poll agrees with them. I'm on my own little Iowa State island. Win all day. I'm with you, bro. Go Pack, go. I'm with you on the Pack today. We are aligned. Next. All right, so next up, UCF at Houston. This is a big line. I'm surprised you put this in the graphics, Andy, with such a huge line. And also, I thought UCF was pretty good, but they're getting 16.5 points. Maybe because Houston at home, but hasn't Houston? Aren't they unproven at home?
I don't think they're unproven at home. I think the reason this line is just so high is everybody expects Houston to be they're way more talented than everybody else at the bottom of the Big 12. We saw their line against West Virginia. It was like 22.5. They're going to get lines like this. That's why I have UCF covering. I think it's a high line. They are coming off a big win, which kind of scares me. You'd think it'd be a letdown spot going on the road at Houston, but I think they lose this one by 10, 12. I think just 16.5 is a really high number. UCF's a pretty solid team. They've been a lot like Cincinnati. First year in the Big 12, I expected them to be awful. They've been really solid, so they have some big wins.
I'm putting UCF up for me, although admittedly, I don't know a ton about the UCF. But I remember you speaking in the office, Andy. You were speaking pretty highly of UCF last week. So I'll ride with UCF. Toast, are we sweeping UCF?
Yeah, absolutely. Darius Johnson is about to go nuclear tonight, boys. He had an off game last night, or the other night against Texas, only had 11 points. But the two games prior to that against BYU and Kansas, 18 and 17. I think Darius Johnson gets it going tonight. I think that I agree with Andy in general that this could be a UFC, or I can't even say UFC a lot, a UCF letdown spot. But I also think that them now playing in the Big 12, kind of eyes wide open type of thing. I think this is they're going to get up for all these games. They've played a pretty gauntlet too, on the road at Kansas State, at home against Kansas, at home against BYU, and then Texas. Those are top teams in this conference. So I don't think they're going to come in and see this Houston team as a scared team or anything like that. So I would take the points with UCF as well.
AJ Bascone in the comments said the kid on the right reeks of fade.
Okay.
That's Prop Beaver. For you don't know, AJ Bascone is Prop Beaver. And Bama Boy, take the hat off Kyle. Matt Campbell sucks. He's just pissed because Matt Campbell didn't take his bum-ass Alabama job. He stayed in the Big 12. All right, let's our poll. Wow, UCF. There's a lot of us on UCF tonight. Today, I should say. 55% to 34%. So a lot of people feeling UCF. I like it. We're a UCF program today. Might even play the money line. Let's get crazy.
Whoa.
I reek of fade. Interesting, AJ.
Let's go Big Ten. Finally, a real conference.
All right, so those numbers are not. There's no way.
What numbers?
It says -6.5 for Iowa. That can't be right?
Is it Purdue -6.5?
I think it's flopped. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's my bad. I did that this morning when I first woke up. I was doing That's my bad. So obviously it's Purdue -6.5. The bottom. You know what? I can fix it.
I'm drilling the Purdue ones. I mean,
It's,
I mean, either way you want to put it, I'm drilling Purdue.
how about this? Purdue minus.
You can give them +6.5, -10, whatever you like. I'm taking Purdue.
So you're both on Purdue?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, let me see if I can figure. I mean, you know what? If we're all going to take Purdue and we're not going to talk about it, no use in trying to fix it.
I'll say my piece really quickly. Purdue was up by 30 against this Iowa team the first time they played. Then they let all the walk-ins play. Nobody in a Purdue uniform played over 25 minutes. They are head and shoulders better than this Iowa team. I have no problem taking them with double digits, but I do think that they win. Them in that Tennessee parlay is a pretty decent one.
Yo, Doug Lane's a Matt Campbell guy too. Love it. I knew I liked that guy, Doug Lane. I knew I liked him. And Bama boy, you're on the wrong side of both NFL games tonight, bro. The Ravens 41-6, and Packers are going to make it interesting with the 49ers. So you're on the wrong side of both tonight.
Did you say you think they're going to win 41-6?
Ravens blowout.
Ooh, I did blowouts there. I don't know if they're not giving up a touchdown.
Oh, well, they could score a touchdown with
This
6, bro.
extra
Do you
point-
understand how football works?
No, I got it. I just didn't.
All right, do you have anything to say about Purdue?
Yeah, I think they're going to win the national championship. This team.
I say that every year, and they don't.
I do too. This year it feels different. They have shooters that are actually consistent. They just went on the road, won at Indiana. That's a hell of a lot tougher place to play than Iowa. Yeah, I think they blow them out today, and I think this is one of the best teams in the country. So.
Zodwick gets it. He says Ravens, boat race. I guess I would imagine the public action is like this too. So just know if you're going with Purdue, you're going to be on the heavy public side. Not that should sway you off the bet. Just be aware that if Iowa wins this game, sportsbooks clean up a little bit. Purdue money line is going to be in a lot of parlays.
Correct.
Next, Clemson, Florida State. Let's talk some ACC. I don't think we've had an ACC on the board yet.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's a dying conference.
It is a dying conference. It's tough to scrape out ACC games. I only think there's like 2 of them in here.
No, we got Duke Pitt. I remember
Yeah, that's
Duke
the other
Pitt's in
one.
here. All right. So Clemson, Florida State. Florida State, I put Miami money line in a parlay, and I don't even do those chalky parlays very often, but sometimes I do them for fun, and that one should have hit. But Miami got beat at home by Florida State. And honestly, I blame Andy because the notes he gave me made it seem like Miami was a trustable team at home. And clearly they're not.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Toast, do you think that game was more Miami's not good or Florida State's good? Because I don't know how to read this Florida.
I think that Miami is spiraling out of control. And if I think that they're going to lose probably today at Syracuse, and that would cement my thinking that they're just spiraling out of control. Not to say that what they've done the last couple of years is a fluke or anything like that, but it's really hard to stay at that level. It's just one of those things. I truly believe that Miami's spiraling out of control.
So you would go Clemson here. You're saying that Florida State win wasn't shit.
Yes, that is correct. I would take Clemson here. Clemson's been terrible as well. They're 1-4 their last 5 in ACC play. Florida State's 5-0 in ACC play. Yet we still have a line that's Clemson minus whatever it is now. And there's a reason for that. Clemson's 29th in shot quality adjusted efficiency. Florida State's number 52. Florida State's number 329 in the country against the 3-point shot. Tigers come in. Clemson's coming in at like 15th in 3-point efficiency. So the question is, does Joe Girard do anything for them? I think so. He hasn't done anything for a while. He's finally should be healthy now. Him and PJ Hall are going to need a legacy performance. They've played like shit since the beginning of January. But I think Florida is a fugazi team. Miami's not that good at all. Also, Clemson, number 7 strength of schedule in the country. They've been battle tested this whole year. Florida State's in the 40s as far as strength of schedule.
I'm going to put Clemson up for me, too, because I like what he just said. I don't know a ton about these programs, but I feel like what he just said made sense. I feel like that was a solid argument. Andy?
Yeah, I tend to agree with him that I think it was more Miami looks like a complete opposite team that I thought they were. So I think that Florida State win really doesn't really do much for me. The only thing that scared me on Clemson was Georgia. That loss at Georgia Tech is rough. Georgia Tech is not a good basketball team. But I think Clemson has to figure it out eventually. They are way too talented to not figure it out. And what they're 1-4 in ACC play, they're going to figure it out today.
Georgia Tech, clearly the second best college basketball team in the state.
They're third best, actually. Kennesaw's better than them.
What Kennesaw? They're in Georgia? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Are they really
Also,
better than them? Or are you trolling?
Well, they were
I'm
last
serious.
year. Yeah, they're better. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Another huge one with Florida State can't shoot free throws, 270 in the country. Clemson can shoot free throws, 35th in the country, short spread. Just want to throw that out there.
We're pretty split community-wise, 42% to 40. So Clemson did win the poll, but it was close. There's a lot of people out there that like Florida State coming off that Miami win. Next, UCLA at Arizona, 17.5. Another one that I was surprised Andy put in the graphics here. UCLA sucks, dude.
Andy's got the ball to take UCLA, I bet.
No way.
No, I
He
put
hates
it 'cause I knew-
UCLA.
Yeah. Yeah. This is gonna be an ugly one. I think Arizona wins this one near 30. I mean, the last time UCLA went on the road, or at least that I remember, Utah, and it was a 45-point game. Utah's a good team, not Arizona. The Arizona's a hell of a lot better. Arizona is going to score a lot of points in this game. UCLA, they have a good defense, but Arizona's offense way better. I would be surprised if UCLA passes the 50 mark today in this game scoring. Their offense is awful. Everything's going wrong there. So, yeah, I have Arizona big in this one.
You agree?
Yep, couldn't agree more. Didn't play it personally, but Arizona, number one strength of schedule in the country. They've been battle tested since game 2 against Duke. I think they blow them out. Coming off a USC game where they really started to put their foot on the pedal towards the end. They already have a loss against Washington State. I think Arizona rolls them.
I mean, I don't really know. I'll put up Arizona just to tail these guys, but I don't know anything about this. 57% to 22%, 56% to 24% in favor of Arizona. So mostly community betting Arizona. And as you would expect, a 17.5-point home favorite with a really good team at home against a really bad team. Next. Kind of reminds me of the Ravens-Texans. Next, we got BYU at Texas Tech. Back to the Big 12. Just 2.5. Short line here. Texas Tech minus 2.5. Pass. All right. Either you guys have a lean you like here?
I would Texas Tech for me. Big 12 home teams. Sounds like a broken record, but yeah. Also, Texas Tech has played really well. I mean, they've started 3-1 in the conference. Texas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, all wins. They lost to a Houston team that was coming in there desperately needing of a win. Pop Isaac, Joe Toussaint, all those guys ready and working. I'm not sure if I trust this BYU team just yet. Metrically, they're darlings, but I'm just really not sure about them. This will be a big test for them on the road. But yeah, Big 12 home teams, it's really hard to just pass up on those. So yeah, Scoop is one of the Texas Tech is Scoop's favorite bet of the day, by the way.
Really?
Part of this is me tailing a little bit of Scoop, but yeah, Texas Tech for me.
Texas Tech's his favorite bet of the day, he said?
Yep.
He's been cold, though, hasn't he? Didn't he lose like 3 of his top bets in a row?
That I cannot.
I'm pretty sure he's been cold. I wonder if he snapped out of it, because that was like last week. So maybe he snapped out of the cold stretch.
He had a good day yesterday, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you know what? No, he did. He was 6-1 after. Yeah, he did have a good day yesterday. Yep. Andy?
Yeah, I like Texas Tech. He said Big 12 home teams. That's pretty much. These teams are kind of even in terms of talent wise, so that's why the line is what it is. I'd decide Big 12 home team here.
Doug Lane says Texas Tech also. Doug Lane also said his favorite bet of the day is Penn State plus 10. He said he's a Buckeyes fan. They're playing like shit, even in a revenge spot.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. Yeah, I agree.
Penn State's
Ohio
coming off
State.
a huge win too.
Dude, I don't think we have Ohio State, Penn State lined up for the graphics.
I don't believe it.
They're pretty bad teams.
They didn't make the cut, guys. I'm sorry. Let's move on to the next one, which is here we go. It's showtime. It's dogs time. For those of you who don't know, Andy is a diehard Georgia basketball fan. And if you're thinking, I didn't think those existed, you're right. He's the only one. Andy, after seeing your boys collapse down the stretch against Tennessee, do they show up here on the road? This is a tough spot.
That's the reason I don't think Georgia's going to win. I don't think Georgia will have the gas in big games like this to close out teams. They just clearly don't. When a team tries to play tough defense on Georgia, it's usually very successful. However, the line is so high, and I think a lot of the line is because the game's at Rupp Arena. Georgia's 3-0 in true road games, and they're not like they were playing cupcakes. They went on the road, played Florida State, not a great team, but a good team. South Carolina was nearly ranked coming into the game, and they beat them. And the other road game was Missouri, not an easy place to play. It was an SEC opener. That was a tougher game. So they're a really good road team. Couple that with the fact the line is way too high. Georgia is not 14 points worse than Kentucky. I would say the way they're playing, they are a top 6-7 team in the SEC, and it's a really good conference. So I think Georgia keeps it close. I think at the end they'll run out of gas, probably lose it by 7-8 points, but I think it's a really close game most of the way.
Yeah, I mean, because you work here, we have the Georgia games all the time, and they're playing tough, man. I love the way this Georgia team's playing. 14? No way. A lot of people are betting this game based on like what Georgia has been in years past. Georgia's pretty good this year, man. Georgia plus 14.
I like the over 161.5. One of my favorite bets of the day today. Just kind of simple for me. Kentucky at home. I mean, at home this season, they are just putting up crazy numbers. I mean, you can go all the way back to November when they put up 101, 96, 118, 95. And then their last couple games, Illinois State 96, Missouri, they put up 90, 97 on the road 92 on the road against Texas A&M, 90 at home against Mississippi State. I think both teams score here. I think both teams like to run at a decent pace. Georgia top 50 in average possession length. Kentucky top 20. Kentucky's one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. I will give Georgia credit. They have done a good job of limiting three-pointers, but both teams shoot free throws well. I think the pace is going to be there. I agree with those guys. I think that's way too many points to lay, but Kentucky home overs have been just way too good for me. So I hope everybody's shooting today. I hope Melendez, Thompson, or
what about Blue Kane?
How do you say that guy's name? Thomason. Okay, I always get that wrong. Dillingham, and by the way, Rob Dillingham is on another level right now.
Kentucky shooters are
until tonight.
I think we see points and more
Not
points.
Tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Someone said Blue Kane plays for Georgia. Enough said. Lock.
Great guy.
The guy knows ball. It's clearly there's a ball knower. 52%, 35% in favor of Kentucky. So not as heavy. Obviously, the majority of the people are going to be taking Kentucky at home against Georgia, but not as crazy as you would think. 52% to 34%. I'm not willing to say the Suns are back, Justin Frith. Come on. It was one game. It was like a rivalry game, too, where there's like a lot of hatred there. Yeah, I got caught on the square side with the Pelicans for sure. But that Nets money line felt good last night. And then Hawks money line, too. I got trolled for both those picks, both 8
Did
point.
You parlay them?
Uh-huh. And I got trolled for both of them on YouTube. Hawks money line beating the Heat on Udonis Haslem jersey retirement night. How could you fade him? What? What? That sounds like some made up shit.
I saw the videos of him getting his jersey retired, and
I mean, good for him, but like, how
comically laughed.
How could you fade the Heat on that night?
On Udonis Haslem retirement night.
Anytime there's a baseball game and there's a team celebrating something, I always fade them first 5. It's pretty simple.
The game gets delayed. Baseball is stupid. They delay the game by like a half hour too whenever they do crap like that.
Yep.
So next up, we're back in the Big 12. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Kansas State laying 9.5 points at home. What do you guys think?
Andy?
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a very ugly one. I think Oklahoma State might be if West Virginia didn't exist, they'd be the worst team in the Big 12. I mean, this Oklahoma State team is awful. Now they're going on the road. I actually think the number's a little lower than I thought it would be. 9.5. I think they win it by 15. Oklahoma State's going to be in full rebuild mode after this year. They don't have much talent on their team. A lot of their guys have been transferring year in and year out. So, and Kansas State, I do think Jerome Tang does have a foot out the door, but I think he's doing enough right now that they're going to keep trying to win. So I think Kansas State's got this one handily.
Toast, do you agree?
Yeah, I didn't bet it, but I would agree. The only reason I didn't bet it is because Kansas State's coming off a huge win against Baylor in OT, and now they're facing an Oklahoma State team that's definitely the bottom of the barrel, like Andy said, off of 4 straight losses. But against Baylor, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Kansas. I mean, 15, 14, 13, and 34 in the country. So it's not like they're getting beat by these terrible teams. I don't consider Kansas State at the echelon that those 4 teams are at. But I do think Kansas, if I had to pick a side, it'd be Kansas State minus the points.
You said Kansas State coming off an overtime win over Baylor, though. So wouldn't it have to be the spot to take Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I just think that Oklahoma State's that bad. So
really?
I didn't bet this game, but I would.
All right, it's good. I'm switching over to Kansas State. I'm not betting this game. So
they're an awful basketball team. It is an awful team.
Bro, Mike Gundy, though.
If he coached a basketball team, they'd be better, honestly.
Mike Gundy, that team looked terrible to start the season. Mike Gundy turned it around. I don't know. All right, fine.
It helps
Kansas
when
State.
Ollie Gordon starts running 200 yards every game. He's not coming out this game.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon not playing in this game. Next up, we got Florida at Mizzou. Some more SEC. Short line at 3. Florida laying 3 on the road. All right. So is Mizzou that bad? Because I didn't think Florida was very good to be laying points on the road here.
I was
your conference.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know where all the Florida love came from. I'm on Missouri in this one. I don't know where the Florida love came from. If you look at their schedule and you look at the teams they've played, they have not had a signature win. I think they're still living off an overtime loss to Baylor earlier in the year. They lost by 2 to Baylor. Pretty much since then, everybody's been like, well, we saw this team play pretty well. They're 1-3 in SEC play. They got I won't say boat race together. They got killed on the road against Tennessee. Tennessee, good team, whatever. They just don't look like they have the offense to play these SEC games. And I'm not even saying Missouri's good, but Missouri's been a little bit underrated for how they actually are. They played Georgia, and then they went on the road to Kentucky. That's a really tough game. So I think people are kind of underrating how hard their SEC play's been. And Florida's been overrated for a couple months now. So I'm on Missouri.
Yeah, and I like how we just saw a game that might have been 2 Saturdays ago now, kind of the same spot where Florida was mispriced. They had the line moved up. They were laying 3 to Kentucky. So it's not out of the realm for Florida to be mispriced. Missouri for me too. Toast.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Mizzou +3 or whatever it is right now. Couple points that I wanted to read when I wrote down. First thing, fade Todd Golden's bitch ass on the road. That's first. Fuck Florida. That's second. Double revenge for Mizzou. They lost twice to Florida last year. Florida has been playing like dog crap. They don't get credit for me for beating a bad Arkansas team at home. Florida really doesn't do a good job. 285th defending the 3 in the nation. Mizzou coming like a top 60 team shooting the 3 ball. And last but not least, it's a one possession game. One team in Florida, number 305 shooting free throws. The other team in Mizzou, number 41 shooting free throws. A decent rebounding edge for Florida and their size. That's one thing that they do have is size, but I think their shooting is terrible. I think their coach is terrible. I'll take the 3 points with Missouri.
The thing I've noticed about their size is, and we were watching the game the other day, their big man he is soft. He can't rebound a ball, and he's like 7'2" or whatever. He's the kid that transferred from Marshall. He's very soft. So
all 3 of us on Mizzou. Poll is pretty split. Let's see what it looks like. Dead split, 46% apiece. So half you guys like Florida -3, half you guys like Mizzou +3. All right, next game up, Pitt at Duke. -13. Pitt on the road at Cameron Indoor. All right. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, this is my favorite bet of the day.
What?
We saw this game, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, in Pitt, and it was an ugly one. I mean, and I had that. It was my best bet that day, too. I think the line was like 5.5. Duke won by like nearly 25. Today,
that was in Pitt?
Yeah, they're going to do the exact same thing. I mean, they're a great team at home, obviously. Cameron Indoor is one of the toughest places to play in the country. Pitt's not that talented of a team. I think they've been a little bit overrated to start ACC play pretty much this whole season. Duke is finally coming into their own. I think that team needed a while because it's so many freshmen on that team. They needed a while to gel together. They finally have. I think they blow them out today.
Dennis Burns, what's up, man? Thanks for watching. And actually, I was on the other side. I took Creighton, but Andy took Seton Hall with you. Toast.
Yeah, I really can't add much to that. Syracuse or Pittsburgh had a very, very good run last year, and they've completely fallen off this year. It's really bad. These two teams literally just played on the 9th, and Duke won by 22, I think it was. So I have no confidence in Pitt coming into Cameron Indoor and doing anything today.
Doug Lane's on Duke with us as well. So we're Duke program today. 59%, 30% in favor of Duke. I'd forever take a team 113-3 straight. Oh my God, Andy, the graphics. They're 113-3 straight.
They're 113-3.
It's been a good run.
I don't know how that. I don't know. Are you fading that team? I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Next, UConn at Villanova, back up to the Big East. A Big East night game.
This is probably the game of the day, I would think.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, Alabama, Tennessee could probably run for its money, but yeah.
So Nova is catching 3.5 at home. Thoughts? Toast?
I love UConn here personally. I'm landing with UConn. I think they are head and shoulders the best team in the country right now. I mean, if you look what they did without having Donovan Cleenan, I was convinced that they would lose a couple games in that stretch. I mean, all they did was lose to Seton Hall, and we've talked about how good Seton Hall has played. So I just when you're playing Villanova, obviously they're going to slow it down and try to make this game a crawl. But guess what? That's what Connecticut does too. The only difference is that Connecticut's one of the top 10 in the country in offense in pretty much every category except for 3-point shooting. But even then, with guys like Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton and stuff like that, I don't really worry about UConn 3-point shooting at all. Obviously, Villanova is another team, a huge 3-point shooting team, really good defensively, shoots their free throws. I just don't see with Connecticut's size they match up with them. I don't really see Connecticut getting in a whole bunch of foul trouble. So I truly think that Connecticut goes in and wins this game by multiple possessions. I just think they're head and shoulders better than everybody else.
Andy, has Villanova played Creighton yet?
Not that I know of, but I
they did. Villanova beat Creighton by 2 in overtime.
Okay,
they beat Creighton by 2 in overtime. Let me see Villanova's schedule here.
The thing about Villanova to me is I don't think they are a particularly talented team. I don't think they've been that. Yeah, since Jay Wright left, they haven't been very talented. The roster, I mean, if you stack these two rosters up next to each other, I think take the names off. It's like a 7-8 point.
You have Eric Dixon and Justin Moore, who are very, very good college basketball players that can run the show for everybody and get everybody set. Yeah. But I mean, are you really worried about Tyler Burton or TJ Mamba?
No, and the thing about UConn is they can throw so many different guys at you from 3 big men. I mean, like they have 3 big men that they can throw at you, and I don't think anybody but Purdue could like stack up against them. So I think UConn's the play here. I don't see it from Nova. I think fading Nova at home has worked for me this year already, and I think it'll continue to work. They're not, for some reason, they're not a particularly good team in the city of Philadelphia in their games. So
I was trying to find a way to get to Villanova, but I mean, there's just nothing here. I mean, I like that they're coming off a road loss to Marquette, like bounce back at home with 4 full days off, but I mean, look at these. I barely beat Xavier. They beat DePaul. Congrats. Lost to St. The Johnnies came in and slapped them around.
That one was never close.
It was never close. They beat the hell out of them. So, UConn.
I could see it if UConn played like super fast and they would be out of their element with this slow game. But UConn doesn't play fast, so it's not like they're going to see anything that they're not used to.
Yeah.
So 81%, 12%. This is probably the most public play on the board. So if you're taking UConn, just know you're on the super public side here, and the sports books will clean up if Villanova wins this one. Next, last game. Ole Miss at Auburn. We're finishing up in the SEC. Ole Miss, someone was talking about Ole Miss recently. I forget what they said.
I said something about. I mean, you told me the other night that whoever it was in the Discord had their best bet was LSU, and I thought Mississippi would be.
It was living good, living good
Yeah.
at LSU.
And the thing about Mississippi is they've proven to me now they were the most fraudulent 15-0 team I think you could ever find. I mean, if you go back and look at their schedule, it should have been obvious. They haven't played anybody, and now they're going up against Auburn, who's a really good team, but also at Auburn. Auburn is I think Auburn is the toughest place in the SEC to play. I think.
Welcome to the jungle.
Do they play that song?
Yeah,
Yes.
that place is crazy. So yeah, I think Auburn has this one pretty. This is probably my second best bet of the day behind the Duke bet. I think Auburn crushes them. I don't see it from Mississippi State. They have some talented players, but when they've played LSU isn't even that good of a team, and LSU had that game pretty handily in the second half. So Auburn defends guards well too. That's all really Ole Miss has. So I think this is ugly.
Auburn minus 12.5. I mean, don't you think this line's huge though?
I don't know if it is. I don't think Ole Miss is that good. That thing, you look at the 15-2 record and you say, 15-2. But if you go through their schedule, I mean, it's a joke who they've played.
Bro, I'm taking Ole Miss. Screw that. Ole Miss.
I think their best win is like NC State, right?
12.5. Man, no way.
No, they beat Memphis. They beat UCF. They beat Florida. I mean, they have some decent wins. I mean, I know, but I'm just saying. So,
where are you at?
I played Auburn team total because I didn't want to play over 82. I didn't want to lay a whole bunch of points with Auburn, but at home in the jungle, they've hit that number a lot. They just scored 80 against Vanderbilt, 93 against LSU. 101 against Chattanooga, 88 against Penn. They've been able to hit this number. So if Auburn's playing somewhat well today, they should hit this number, and I don't have to worry about laying points. So Auburn team total over 82.
Auburn team total over 82. Got it. All right. Our poll is heavy on Auburn. I'm on my own little Mississippi island here. All right, so let's do the community parlay.
Can I share one little nugget with everybody really quick?
Go ahead.
There's one game we didn't talk to, and this is going to piss Kyle off, but Cal is going to play basketball tonight, and I think they're going to win this game against Washington State. And really quickly, this is the worst scheduling spot for Pac-12 teams. We saw Stanford and Stanford lose this game. We've seen Arizona lose this game where they're on back-to-back road trips with a 1 or 2 day prep period. This is a bad spot for Washington State. I'm telling you guys, take Cal plus the points. I'm done.
So Cal plus what is the line?
1.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
I'll put 2. All right, so he likes Cal plus 2. The game's actually started. It's after 12, so we can't do the community parlay. Sorry. The both NFL videos are up. The NBA stuff, I'm not going to have time to do a video today. They'll be posted on the website, though, on KyleKirms.com in about 2 hours. Uploading tomorrow's NFL games a little later. Let's have ourselves a great Saturday. Remember to bet responsibly. And I'll talk to you in the Discord. Give me I'll be in the Discord in about an hour. I need to get a few things done, but I'll be in there. So I'm always in the chat tab of the Discord if you need me. Everyone, have a good one.
Have a good night, guys.